Welcome everyone. Today we are going to explore in depth about procrastination from a neuroscience perspective. So procrastination is a common behavior that affects many of us, often leading to a stress, anxiety, and decreased productivity. By understanding the neuroscience mechanism behind procrastination, we can develop plan to manage it more effectively. In this video, we will cover the neuronal basis of procrastination, the role of executive function, the emotional components, the temporal nature of the procrastination, and practical application for overcoming from this. So first of all, let's understand this one basis of brain structure, that is limbic system. So the limbic system is a complex set of structure located deep within the brain. This include amygdala, hippocampus, hypothalamus, some part of the other brain region. This system is responsible for processing emotion, generating automatic responses, and seeking immediate pleasure while avoiding discomfort. The amygdala play a crucial role in processing emotion such as fear, anxiety, and pleasure. When faced with a scary task, the amygdala may trigger a fear response, and that leads us to avoid the task. This fear response is an evolutionary mechanism designed to protect us from potential threats. However, in modern times, this can be triggered by non-life threatening situations such as challenging work and project or difficult conversation. The influence of the amygdala on procrastination is significant because it can create a strong dislike to tasks that are perceived as unpleasant or anxiety inducing. The hippocampus is involved in the forming and retrieving memory. It helps us remember past experience that include those were unpleasant, which can influence our decision to procrastinate. Let's understand this with the example. If we have had negative experiences with similar tasks in the past, the hippocampus can bring those memories to the head, show up our desire to avoid the task. This process is known as negative reinforcement, where the avoidance of an unpleasant task is rewarded by the relief of not having to face it. The hippocampus regulates various physiological functions in our body, for example, a stress response. When we perceive a task as stressful, the hippocampus activates the body stress response, making us more likely to procrastinate. This response involves the release of a stress hormone such as cortisol, which can impair the cognitive function and make it harder for us to focus on one task. The role of hippocampus in procrastination that can highlight the connection between physical and mental health, as chronic stress can make worse procrastination tendency. In contrast, the limbic system, the prefrontal cortex PFC, is located at front of brain. It is responsible for the higher order cognitive functions such as planning, decision making, and impulse control, as well as future oriented thinking. The prefrontal cortex is often referred as the executive center of the brain because it helps us make rational decisions and prioritize long-term goals over immediate enjoyment. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, that is DLPFC, is involved in executive function including working memory, cognitive flexibility, and planning. It helps us stay focused on the long-term goal and resist immediate desire. The DLPFC's role in procrastination is crucial because it allows us to break down the complex tasks into manageable steps and create a structured plan to achieve our goal. When the DLPFC is functioning optimally, it can dominate over the desire of limbic system for immediate pleasure and keep us on the track. The ventromedial prefrontal cortex (BMPFC) is associated with decision making and emotional regulation, and that help us evaluate the pro and con of our action and manage our emotion effectively. The BMPFC influence procrastination is significant because it allows us to evaluate the long-term consequences of our action and take decisions that align with our value and goal. When the BMPFC is functioning well, it can help us manage the negative emotion associated with tasks and reduce the likelihood of procrastination. When we face a task, especially one that is challenging or unpleasant, the limbic system and prefrontal cortex engages in a neuronal tug of war. The limbic system seeking immediate comfort plus immediate comfort pushes us avoid the task, while the prefrontal cortex attempt to keep our focus on our goal. And this internal conflict can create a sense of cognitive disagreement, where we feel uncertain between our desire for immediate gratification and our long-term aspiration. So understanding the neuronal pathway and neurotransmitter involved in procrastination can provide the further insight into this behavior. So dopamine is a neurotransmitter associated with reward and pleasure. When we engage in the activity that provide immediate gratification, such as browsing social media, our brain releases dopamine, boosting the behavior. This dopamine release creates a positive feedback loop where the brain learns to seek out activities that provide quick rewards, even they are not aligned with our long-term goal. So next is the serotonin hormone. The serotonin is involved in mood regulation and impulse control. Low level of serotonin can lead to increased impulsivity and difficulty in resisting distraction. Serotonin's role in the procrastination is significant because it helps regulate our mood and emotional response. When serotonin levels are low, we may struggle to manage negative emotion and be more prone to procrastination. Next is cortisol. So the cortisol is a stress hormone released by the hippocampus. High level of cortisol can impair cognitive function, making it harder for us to maintain focus on tasks. Cortisol influence on procrastination highlight the connection between stress and cognitive performance. So the chronic stress can deplete our cognitive resources and make it more challenging to stay focused and motivated. The role of executive functions are a set of cognitive processes managed by prefrontal cortex that are crucial for goal-oriented behavior. These functions influence impulsivity, self-monitoring, planning and organization, task execution and emotional control, and working memory. Impulsivity refers to the ability to resist immediate temptation and delay gratification. When our impulsivity is high, we are more likely to seek out activities that provide instant rewards, even if they are not aligned with our long-term goal. So impulsivity role in the procrastination is significant because it can create a preference for the short-term pleasure over long-term success. So self-monitoring is one of the ability to track and evaluate one's our own performance and progresses. When we are aware of our action and their consequences, we are more likely to stay on track and avoid procrastination. So self-monitoring's influence on the procrastination, which is crucial because it allows us to identify when we are deviating from our goal and take corrective action. So planning and organization involve following a structured plan to achieve goal. When we have a clear plan in place, we are more likely to stay focused and motivated. Planning and organization role in procrastination is significant. That is because it provides a roadmap for the achieving goal and reducing the likelihood of getting sidetracked. When we struggle with the task initiation, we may delay starting tasks, leading to procrastination. So task initiation is influence on the procrastination is very crucial because it determines how quickly we can transition from the plan to action. And next is emotional control. So the emotional control is the ability to manage and regulate emotion effectively. When we can manage our emotion, we are less likely to be overwhelmed by negative feeling and more likely to stay focused on our own task. So emotional controls, the role in procrastination is also significant because it allows us to navigate the emotional challenges associated with tasks and reduce the likelihood of avoidance. And next is working memory. So the working memory is the ability to hold and manipulate information in mind for the short period. When our working memory is functioning well, we can keep track of multitask and manage our time effectively. So working memory influence on the procrastination is crucial because it allows us juggle different responsibility and stay organized. A study by Laura Robin and colleagues found significant association between procrastination and all 9 clinical subscales of executive functioning. This suggests that the procrastination might be an expression of subtle executive dysfunction even in otherwise neuropsychologically healthy individuals. The study highlights the importance of executive function in managing procrastination and suggests that intervention aimed at improving executive function may be effectively in reducing procrastination. Next, the emotional component of procrastination. So procrastination is not just about poor time management. It has a significant emotional component. A study has shown that the procrastination often experience feeling of guilt, shame or anxiety along with their delay behavior. This negative emotion can create a various cycle where the more we procrastinate, the worse we feel, and worse we feel, the more we procrastinate. So emotional regulation is the ability to manage and respond to emotional experience effectively. When we procrastinate, we are often trying to avoid negative emotion associated with tasks. This avoidance can provide temporary relief but ultimately lead to more stress and anxiety as deadline approaches and tasks pile up. So procrastination can be seen as form of avoidance coping where individuals avoid tasks that elicit negative emotion. Avoidance coping is a short-term strategy that provides immediate relief but does not address the underlying issue. So over time, avoidance coping can lead to increased stress and decreased productivity. So the procrastination may engage in the activity that provide immediate pleasure to repair their mood. Even if it means delaying important tasks, the behavior is shown as mood repair, where individuals seek out activity that can them feel better in the moment. While mood repair can provide temporary relief, it does not address the root cause of procrastination and can lead to increased stress and anxiety in the long run. So there is a temporal nature of procrastination, another interesting aspect of procrastination, which is how it relates to our perception of our future selves. Research has shown that the many people view their future selves as a stranger, creating a psychological distance that make it easier to put off tasks. This phenomenon is known as temporal self-discontinuity, where individuals perceive their future selves as a separate entity rather than extension of their current selves. Next is temporal discounting. So the temporal discounting is the tendency to devalue reward and punishment that occur in future compared to those that occur in present. This tendency can lead to procrastination because individuals prioritize immediate reward over future benefit. So temporal discontinuity is influenced by several factors including impulsivity, emotional regulation, and cognitive bias. Hyperbolic discounting suggests that the people discount future rewards at a hyperbolic rate, meaning the value of future reward decrease rapidly as the delay increase, and this model explains why individuals may choose immediate gratification over long-term benefit even when the long-term benefits are significantly greater. So hyperbolic discontinuous influence on the procrastination highlight the importance of managing impulsivity and emotional regulation to reduce procrastination. Next is present bias. So the present bias is the tendency to prioritize immediate reward over future benefit, leading to procrastination. Present bias is influenced by several factors including impulsivity, emotional regulation, and cognitive bias. So the present bias role in procrastination highlights the importance of addressing the underlying cognitive and emotional factors that contribute to procrastination. Now let's talk about neuroscientific insight for overcoming procrastination. So understanding the neuroscience behind procrastination can help us develop more effective strategy to combat it. Here are some approaches based on our neuronal understanding. So the task chunking involves breaking large tasks into a smaller, more manageable piece to reduce the emotional resistance from our limbic system. This makes the cost of action feel smaller and more approachable. So the task chunking's influence on the procrastination is significant. That's because it allows us to tackle tasks incrementally, reducing the likelihood of feeling overwhelmed. So tackling tough tasks every in the day can be more effective because our prefrontal cortex tends to function better earlier in the day. This strategy leverages the neuronal fluctuation in our cognitive ability to maximize the productivity. So tackling tough tasks early role in the procrastination is crucial because it allows us to decrease the most challenging tasks when our cognitive resources are at their peak. Now let's talk about practicing mindfulness. So the practicing mindfulness can help us better manage the negative emotion that often trigger procrastination. So mindfulness techniques such as meditation and deep breathing can reduce stress and improve emotional regulation. Mindfulness influence on the procrastination is significant because it allows us to develop greater awareness of our thought and emotion that reduce likelihood of avoidance. Now let's talk about engaging in some activity. So engaging in the activity that boosts executive functions such as regular exercise, cognitive training, and learning new skills that may help improve our ability to resist procrastination. And these activities can enhance our cognitive abilities and improve our capacity for self-regulation. Engaging in the activity that boosts executive functions role in procrastination is crucial because it provides a fundamental foundation of effective time management and goal-directed behavior. Activity managing and connecting with your future self can help bridge the psychological distance that make us procrastination easier. Next, you can do it visualization exercise. So visualization exercise can make future reward feel more tangible and motivating. Actively imaging and connecting with your future self influence on procrastination that is significant because it helps us develop a stronger sense of continuity between our present and future selves and reducing the likelihood of temporal discounting. Now let's talk about the neuroscience of procrastination and productivity tools. So understanding the neuronal basis of procrastination can also help us appreciate why certain productivity tools and techniques are effective. So let's start with the Pomodoro technique. that involves working as a focused 25-minute burst followed by short break. This method aligns well with our brain need for both focus, which is the prefrontal cortex, and reward, which is limbic system. The Pomodoro technique's influence on procrastination is significant because it provides a structured approach to task management, reducing the likelihood of distraction and promoting sustained focus. Next is sharing our goal with others. So sharing our goal with others engages social motivation circuit in our brain, potentially strengthening our commitment to tasks. Accountability partner can provide external motivation and support, helping us stay on track. So sharing our goal with others' influence on procrastination is significant, that because it leverages social support to enhance motivation and reduce the likelihood of procrastination. Next is procrastination is digital age. Our modern technology driven world presents unique challenges when it comes to the procrastination. The instant gratification offered by social media, streaming service, and other digital distractions provide constant temptation for our limbic system. So digital distractions are particularly potent because they activate our brain reward center very effectively. Each notification, like, or new piece of content provide a small dopamine hits, making it increasingly difficult for our prefrontal cortex to keep us focused on less immediately rewarding tasks. So digital distraction influence on procrastination is also significant because they create a constant streaming of interruption that can derail our focus and productivity. Next is taking regular break from the digital device. So what we can do, so taking regular break from the digital device can help reduce the constant streaming of distraction. Stabilizing the specific times for the checking email and social media can help limit their impact on productivity. So taking regular break from the digital device has a huge impact on procrastination because it allows us to create boundary around our digital consumption, reducing the likelihood of distraction. Now we will talk about the genetic and environment for the procrastination. So procrastination is influenced by both genetic and environmental factors. So understanding the interplay between these factors can provide further insight into the behavior. So research has shown that the procrastination has heritable component. Twin studies have found that the genetic factor account for the procrastination 46% of variance in procrastination behavior. So variation in DRD4 gene, which is involved in dopamine regulation, have been linked to procrastination and impulsivity. The COMT gene affects the metabolism of dopamine in the prefrontal cortex, and certain variation in the gene may influence executive function and procrastination. And environmental factors such as the upbringing, education, and work environment also play a significant role in shaping procrastination behavior. So parental behavior such as overprotection or lack of structure can influence the development of procrastination habit in children. Teaching methods that emphasize immediate reward and punishment may contribute to the procrastination. Conversely, practice that promote long-term goal setting and self-regulation can reduce the procrastination. Now let's talk about the psychological theory of procrastination. So several psychological theories provide additional insight into causes and mechanism of procrastination. The first is temporal motivation theory, TMT. So the TMT proposed by Dr. Pierce Steele integrates several existing theories of the motivation and procrastination. So TMT suggests that the procrastination results from combination of expectancy, value, impulsiveness, and delay. So higher expectancy reduces procrastination. So value is the perceived importance and enjoyment of tasks. So higher value reduces procrastination. Next is impulsiveness. So the impulsiveness is the tendency to seek immediate gratification. So higher impulsiveness increases procrastination. Next, the delay is the time until the task deadline. So longer delay increase procrastination. Next is self-determined theory, SDT. So the SDT developed by the Deci and Ryan emphasize the role of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation behavior. According to SDT, procrastination may occur when tasks lack intrinsic motivation and are perceived by external control. Next, relatedness. So the relatedness is the need to feel connected to each other. So higher relatedness can reduce procrastination by providing social support. Now we'll talk about the practical application and intervention. So based on our understanding of neuroscience and psychology of procrastination, several practical application and intervention can help individuals manage this behavior more effectively. First, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. So the CBT is a widely used intervention for addressing procrastination. So CBT focuses on identifying and changing negative thought pattern and behavior that contribute to procrastination. So cognitive restructuring involves a challenging reframing negative thought about task and ability. Next, behavior activation. So behavior activation involves developing and implementing action plan to increase task engagement. Next, time management. So the time management training involves teaching skill and strategy for effective time management and task prioritization. There are other several techniques you can do to manage procrastination, like mindfulness based intervention and mindfulness based cognitive therapy. Those all are somehow reduce your procrastination. There is one very important way to reduce procrastination, which is motivational interviewing. So motivational interviewing is a counseling approach that help individuals explore and resolve the ambivalence about the changes. It can be particularly effective for the addressing procrastination by enhancing motivation and commitment. So exploring ambivalence help individuals understand the pro and con of procrastination and task management. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video.